I'm Krista from Plant Lux, and today I'm going to talk to you about this guy right here who is awesome. His name is Zebrina, Tradescantia Zebrina Quadricolor, which is just fancy for awesome. And this guy is the plant that you want to grab and you want to get a hold of if you love prolific growers and you absolutely are in love with plants that produce tons of foliage very quickly. So let me tell you a little bit about Zebrina Quadricolor, and so let's do it. I'm here for you every Monday and Thursday, and sometimes I don't make my due dates. Oh, whoopsie, sorry. But yeah, I'm here for you twice a week, no matter what. So let's hang out and let's talk about some plants, all right? Proper lighting. They like light. To keep the variegation, number one, you need light. If you have them in shade, they will lose their variegation. They will not grow as prolifically. Now remember, these are invasive species if they're in the wild. So 1-inch growers, meaning you propagate 1 inch, they'll take over the planet. Okay, so let's back up from that. Proper lighting situation, too much light scorches the leaves. It will scorch them, all right? But generally they can handle multiple lighting situations. As long as they have light, they're gonna grow, whether it's a little bit of light or a lot of light. The more light they have, the more they'll grow. Too much light, which is generally like outdoorsy type stuff I'm talking about, it'll scorch leaves. But generally anything in the home will not. You'll probably have to turn it though so that one side's not more light than the other, because again, lighting does affect the color of the foliage. Okay, moving on. Let's talk a moment about how the lighting situations have affected the coloration of these leaves, and then we'll move on to number 2. So we're still on lighting. So if you look at this particular lighting, these leaves have been hidden behind some of the foliar growth of this giant pothos, but it seemed to have maintained some lighter foliage. If you could pan in just for a second. I'm just gonna put this down. So if you can pan in. So the lighter foliage that's near the light over here, as you can see, these guys are lighter in foliage. Okay. And then the ones down here that were behind the foliar growth of the pothos are a little bit less variegated, but the ones that are more toward the light up here are more variegated. Lighting has produced a multitude of growth. I bought this as a plug at a local nursery. And it was a $3.99 plug, which means that it literally was, this large a container that it came in, usually 3 to 4 inch plug. And I stuck it in a larger container and then I just let it go. And this is what happened. I don't know if you can see how long the growth is, but it's at least 24 inches in length. Okay. This is from a local nursery as well. And this is another plug that I bought 1 month later. So this is actually a little younger plant. And I know you can see the markings on this one as well. It's got the purple, it's got the white, it's got the yellows, and it's got the green. So that's 4 colors, it's quadricolor. And it is prolific. And this one is in like a kind of like a sideways light situation, in a window where it receives some light. I would say it is a southeast facing window, and yeah, it receives sunlight, but definitely not like a lot of blasting sunlight. So. And then obviously the pothos plant that's near is hiding some of its more recent growth. So this plant right here is definitely one that I would recommend if you have, I don't know, concerns about lighting in your home. This is gonna grow no matter what lighting situation you put it in, but the more light you put it in, the more it will grow, okay? So that's my recap on lighting. The more light you offer it, the more it's gonna prolifically grow. The less light you offer it, it's still gonna prolifically grow, but the variegation might not be as good, okay? All right, moving on. So when we're talking about care, we're talking about, hey, how often do I water this plant? How often do I fertilize this plant? How often do I need to pay attention to this plant? So for me, I let the plant dry out between waterings. So that's the first and foremost rule for this particular plant. You let it dry out, but you do not let it dry out to the point where you see foliage that is dead. What I do is I go back in and I survey the situation, and I decide, do I propagate this area to sort of salvage the remaining foliage? Is it a situation where it's just cut off the water supply to the rest of the stem? So I usually just chop it, stick it in water, propagate it, and then stick it back in the plant. That's normally what I do. Have I done that to this plant before? No. Normally what I do with my propagations is I just make another plant because I find that this just keeps prolifically growing anyway. But you do need to take the dry foliage as a sign of, hey, I missed a watering. I need to be cognizant of that, and I need to make sure that I'm addressing that in the future so that you don't miss future waterings. They need watered probably once a week, depending on the pot size. So every time I water, I use Jacks, and I follow the label instructions for the regular watering regimen. It's self-explanatory, it's on the label. I'm just gonna tell you right now what I do though, because in case you're wondering if the label and what I say is matching up, here it is. It's 1/2 teaspoon per 2 gallons. Every single time I water my plants, this one, small ones, big ones, it's all the same. Now let's talk about propagation, okay? Because these guys, you could have a gazillion of them. You could have your own Etsy store with the amount of propagating that you could do with this plant. I mean, this is Christmas presents forever. This guy right here will not stop growing, all right? When I got this plant, he was here, okay? Now I have all this, all right? This, from here to here, 3 months ago. From here to here, 3 more months. Oh, propagation right here. Huh. So, I'm just saying, if you really love growing plants and you love propagating plants, Tradescantia, Zebrina, Quadricolor, or any relative of it, like a Bella or any other Tradescantia, is gonna be a great plant for you. I highly recommend it, and I hope that that you enjoy propagating, because it's definitely something I've done. Let's go check it out. So propagating, let's go check it out. Come on with me. So these are all propagations from that big plant. And again, I'm gonna remind you, it was a plug at 2-inch plants, and now it's what you saw in the video. So those are my propagations, and when I bought it, it was probably this big. That's it. I highly recommend this plant. It's a super cool plant to have in your collection. And there's just not a lot of content on the internet about it. And I really think this plant is underrated, and you need to give it a shot. Now, if you really, really, really want to give it a shot and you can't find it in your area, DM me on Instagram. I will be more than happy to send you some cuttings, because I absolutely am in love with this plant. I think that this is a plant lover's dream plant, because it just offers you so much complexity, leaf structure, color. It's prolific grower. I mean, it very is a satisfying plant. So I absolutely want you to have a plant like this. So I would definitely send you a cutting if you DM me. Yeah, Plant Lux, obviously. Yeah, so anyway, underrated plant, you gotta have it though. It seriously is awesome. Yeah, so anyway, thanks for joining me today on my video. I am here for you every Monday and Thursday, and I am hoping that you enjoyed my tips and tricks on this awesome Wandering Jew, Tradescantia, Zebrina Quadricolor, Zebrina Pendula Quadricolor. I don't know, Latin, whatever. Anyway, yeah, so if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. It helps YouTube's algorithm, you know, give me some good vibes and whatever, so please do that. And if you are new to my channel, I am hoping that you subscribe because I really would love your support, so please do that. Yeah, so come back and see me again on, what's today? Whatever. Next time. Come see me next time. Well, I thank you for joining me today, and I so look forward to seeing you next time. Come back and see me again. All right.